Oh, hello there. Welcome to Panda's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making pasta aglio e olio. Aglio e olio, and my pronunciation probably sucks, literally means garlic and oil. And this is easily the simplest Italian pasta dish that I know of, but it also makes it one of the most difficult to make, and it's notorious for having a pretty steep learning curve. However, today I'm going to show you a little trick that I found that hopefully makes it a bit easier at home. It's a very simple dish. It's personally one of my favorites. Let's get cooking. Alright, first things first, let's get the water boiling for the pasta. We're going to be cooking the pasta and making the sauce at the same time. So while the water is boiling, let's go ahead and prep our ingredients. I'm going to prep one of our main ingredients, and that's the garlic. And then with each garlic clove, I'm going to cut it in half lengthwise. That's going to make it easier to peel, and then it's going to help make for some smaller slices as well. We're going to cut this into very thin slices. Take your time here, because the thinner you go, the more flavor you're going to impart into the oil. Alright. Next, I have one whole bunch of parsley. We don't need the stem, so what I do is I grab the leaves and I just kind of twist and get all of the leaves, and then the rest of this stuff here you can just compost. Okay, just roll everything up and just finely chop it up. And we're looking to go as fine as we possibly can here. So after that first chop, bring everything together and then seesaw over here. I would recommend using fresh parsley. I don't think dried parsley would work well in this sort of recipe. Alright, there we go. You can just leave it on the cutting board because we're done chopping. So now I have my frying pan here on medium heat, and before I start here, I'm going to drop my pasta in. This is the only time we actually season the dish is through the pasta water, so make sure you salt it pretty heavily. And you're going to cook the pasta 2 minutes less than the package directions. In my case, it's going to be only 8 minutes. Traditionally, this is done with spaghetti, but I don't have spaghetti today, and I do want to do a science experiment and see how bucatini is, but do what you will. I have 1 pound here. Now here comes the second main ingredient of this dish, which is olive oil, 3 tablespoons, and then we'll go in with the garlic. So we'll lightly toast everything. We do not want this to brown, so keep an eye on it. I'm actually gonna drop the heat to medium low. Along with this, half a teaspoon of red pepper flake. Right before it starts to turn brown, we're basically going to stop the cooking process by introducing pasta water. The sauce is basically an emulsification of pasta water and the olive oil. Now what makes this dish so difficult is olive oil and water do not mix together very well. To make it easier, we can introduce 1 tablespoon of butter in it, because butter does emulsify with water a lot easier. This is not traditional, so if you want to keep it 100% authentic, skip the butter, but just know that it's going to be a bit more difficult. I'm just going to keep on stirring here. We don't want the fat and the water to separate. Okay, so my pasta is done, and we're just going to transfer the pasta straight into here. Immediately we'll hit it with a couple ladles of pasta water, and you're going to add another one as soon as the pasta kind of absorbs everything. And let's jack up the heat to about medium high. At this point, you do have to stay pretty active and keep everything moving so everything emulsifies and combines well. You hear that frying? That means it's time for more pasta water. So just gonna taste for doneness here. It's pretty close, but it needs to cook a bit more. So 1 more ladle of pasta water, and that should be the final one. Remember, with all pasta sauces, it does thicken up or tighten up when the dish cools down. So make sure before you serve it, the sauce is a bit more watery than you'd like it to be. Now this is where you go in with your parsley and mix everything around. If you want, some people like to add a little lemon juice at this point, but me personally, I don't like doing that. I'm just not a huge fan of lemon in my food, but you do whatever you want. That looks absolutely beautiful to me. We are ready to plate. Grab a nice heaping full. Grab a good amount and just kind of twist as you go down. A tad bit more, because we love pasta. But I will garnish with just a tad bit more red pepper on top. And there we go. Aglio e olio. Now, before you and I started dating, have you ever heard of this?
No.
No.
I don't think I've even had this fresh.
Oh yeah, yep. This is one of those pasta dishes that is 1,000,000% better fresh. It doesn't reheat as well as other pasta dishes do because the sauce kind of ends up breaking and it can be oily. And my mouth is watering. Let's do it. Oh man.
Yes.
It's one of those where the flavor is just like very simple and it gets better as you eat more, in my opinion. So at first it might not have a ton of flavor, but it'll continue to grow on you. And that's why, in my opinion, the parsley is it just makes everything just look so much more appetizing.
Yeah, it's really good. How do you like it with that bucatini?
I really like it. These bucatini noodles, especially this brand, look how thick those boys are.
Thick boys.
Yeah, and the hole inside's not too big, which makes it easier to eat. Because sometimes if you have like really big hole in the bucatini, it's like really hard to like eat and slurp and all that stuff.
Suck it.
Yeah. How would you describe the flavor of this pasta to someone who's never had it before? Because I'm having a tough time.
It's very simple.
Uh-huh.
And you get the garlic and the parsley, and then the richness, the right word for the olive oil.
I think you put it like in good words. It's simple, but delightful. And a good way to kind of tell to see if you did it right, if you look at the bottom here, there's no oil or no butter left over. That's when you know you did it right. This is the first time I've used that butter trick and it worked magically.
You hear that?
Yummy. All right, there we go. Aglio e olio. It's the simplest pasta dish, but one of the more difficult ones. You're probably asking yourself, like, why even bother making this if it's that hard? Number one, it's flat out delicious. And number two, if you can make this, you can pretty much make any other pasta recipe. You learn so many things while making this dish, like how to control pasta water, how to control saltiness, how to emulsify and form a sauce. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you think of aglio e olio. Drop a comment below if you've ever heard it before, or if you haven't. I'm curious to see how many people have actually heard of this. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Yeah.